Okay, thank you for joining the College Essentials Q&A webinar. So my name is Michelle, and I coordinate events and orientation activities for you, our students. I am also a two-time Algonquin College graduate. I studied the event management program as well as the entrepreneurship program, and I am so glad that I chose to study at Algonquin. It was one of the best decisions I made. I felt so supported throughout my entire college journey, and I'm sure that you'll feel that same support throughout your studies here at Algonquin. So before we get started with the service presentations, I'd just like to go over a couple of housekeeping items. So you can see and hear the panel, but we cannot see or hear you. If you have any general or technical related questions or need technical support, please feel free to use the chat tab and the events team can help you out there. Please reserve the chat as a space for technical support. If you have a question for one of our service representatives, please ask your question in the Q&A tab, and you'll find that along the bottom of your screen. And we will get to your questions at the end of the presentations. Okay, and this session is being recorded, so it will be added to the algonquincollege.com/orientation website. So we have a full agenda for you here today. So you're going to hear from college experts, learn about essential information that will get you started for your first day on Monday, January 11th. And as mentioned, there will be a Q&A portion at the end. So if you still have questions after today's webinar, that's totally fine. We have a bunch of great resources and events available to you, which are online now. You can check out our online prep page, and you can complete the 10-minute must-do list, watch our AC Startup video series on topics such as achieving academic success, student experience, health and wellness, and more. And then all of these, the online prep, everything will get you set for your first day, which is virtual AC day 1. And it is on Monday, January 11th. The day will start out with your virtual program orientation, where you will meet your classmates and join your program coordinator, learn about your classes. And then the rest of the day is up to you to create your own virtual AC day 1 schedule. So you'll choose from a variety of online activities that interest you and then participate in them virtually. So some of the activities that we have available to you on virtual AC day 1 includes a virtual escape room. We have a cooking class, yoga. There's a special guest joining us from Cabinscape who will talk about tiny homes, and there's so much more. So you can check out the virtual AC day 1 social activities and register today, so that you can register via the algonquincollege.com/orientation website. So now I'm pleased to introduce our first presenter. We have Martha Marr joining us from Student Support Services.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Very nice to be speaking to you this morning, and such an exciting time in your life to be starting college. So welcome to Algonquin. I'm going to be speaking this morning about some of the support services that are available to you to help you succeed in your journey at Algonquin College. But the first thing I want you to know is that even though you're starting college during a unique time in our history, all of the support services are available to you in a virtual method. Next slide, please. Our commitment to you really remains the same as any of our Algonquin College students who are starting their college journey. Your health and safety is utmost to us during this pandemic. And so all of our student services have moved to remote delivery, and virtual appointments and online chats are available for every service. Next slide, please. So I'm going to talk to you about some of these services more in depth, but these are some of the services that you can access at Student Support Services. Most are accessible to you in what's called the e-building or the college center. It's where the Students Association is, it's where the Starbucks is, and most of these services are available to you in that center. So we have the AC Hub, which is all things student engagement. We do know that students who get involved in their college community do better overall and come out with a more rounded education that is more likely to help you access that job when you graduate over somebody who hasn't doesn't have as much co-curricular on the record. Aspire AC, I'll talk to you in a bit. Center for Accessible Learning, I'm sure there's some of you on here today who need some accommodations for your learning, and I'll talk to you more in depth about that today. Counseling Services has 3 streams. You can access counseling for career clarity, for academic stress, academic advice, academic planning, and you can also access counseling services for any kind of personal counseling that you may need. The Employment Support Center is available to you if you want some help with your cover letter, your resume, and any kind of practice interviewing as well. They support a platform called Hire AC, where jobs are advertised for students that are only available to Algonquin College students. So you should go to Hire AC when you have a moment just to have a look at their jobs. Health Services is actually in C building. That's the one service that is not remote right now. It is available to you in person. There is a COVID inventory that you have to sort of go through before they give you an appointment. And they are in C building. They also, if you're somebody who's going into a health or community service that requires immunizations for your placements, they can take care of all that for you. You just have to bring them a record of your earlier immunizations. The library is available virtually, and there's all kinds of online sessions available to you that are provided by the library, starting with how to use Brightspace, how to succeed in a virtual environment, and then going on to group sessions in coaching for computers, for math, for English, that kind of thing. The Mamodosawin Center is a center in C building that's focused around Indigenous culture and supports students who do come to Algonquin colleges from Indigenous communities. They also welcome any student to come in and be a part of their culture. The Office of the Ombudsman is something we hope you never have to use, but it is there for you. It's a neutral body that will do some arbitration for you if you come into sort of a roadblock. You've tried everything else with regards to conflict resolution around your academics. The Office of the Ombudsman will be a neutral body who helps you navigate that. Peer tutoring is available to you through the Student Learning Center, second floor of C building. It's part of the library, and that is where you can access one-to-one tutoring in any of the courses that you may have been challenged with. And it's a student who will look through the materials with you and guide you, and they have taken that course and received a B+ or better in that course. Project Lighthouse and our umbrella project are services through student support services that look at harm reduction and keeping you safe while you're at college, and campus safety around sexual assault prevention. And they have all kinds of really great activities that they do. So you're having fun while you're learning about keeping yourself safe. The Volunteer Center has all kinds of extracurricular, co-curricular activities that you can get involved in. Right now, we're in partnership with Project In Kind, and we are looking for student ambassadors that want to get involved in volunteerism. And most of what you get involved with at the Volunteer Center also is available to be put on your co-curricular record, so that when you graduate, you get a record of your academics and you get a record of everything else that you were involved with, both in the community and at the college as a part of the Algonquin College community. And the Welcome Center is a center on the 3rd floor of E building, the Student Commons. And that is the center that will help you to access most of these services. So they will help you to access the Center for Accessible Learning, counseling services, employment services, and the tech center at the Center for Accessible Learning. Next slide, please. So a few of these services I'm just going to speak more in depth about because we always get questions. So there's some of you online right now who have maybe when they went to high school, what's called an IEP, an individual education plan. And in that plan, you received certain accommodations to help you succeed. And that's what the Center for Accessible Learning is all about. However, in college, you're a little more responsible for accessing that and for getting your learning strategy plan together with the Center for Accessible Learning. So my advice to you, if you're somebody who will need some accommodations to succeed, is to go as early as possible, start to register with them, as opposed to when you were in high school. They base all of their accommodations on functioning. So it's to increase your academic functioning and your functioning to succeed at the college. So to register, you don't need to have your accommodation ready to go. You just need to register. And then as you go through, they will tell you what paperwork is required. Next slide, please. In counseling services, as I mentioned, there's 3 streams. One of our more popular streams are people who maybe start a course and figure out, maybe this is what I want to do for my career. So they go to Career Clarity. And certainly in this time of unique pandemic restrictions on all of us, there is a lot of stress on people, especially people starting college, starting their post-secondary degree. So some of the things that you might want to go to counseling for is overwhelming stress, relationship troubles, any kind of symptoms of mental health, any kind of thoughts of suicide. I would definitely contact that support, addictive behaviors, etc. Next slide, please. And Aspire AC, I always highlight this service because this service is for people who maybe they're the first in their family to go to college and it's all foreign to them. There's nobody around them who can tell them what it's like to go to college. And maybe they're a first new Canadian. Maybe they're somebody who has come from a challenging socioeconomic background. And this program is really there for them. It has services to help you be ready when you get to college and to thrive when you get here. We offer student mentors in that program. We pay for your peer tutoring. We have a job coaching program, which is based on a workplace literacy curriculum. And so it's very intense, but it will help you succeed in the workplace. You can get skills and strengths assessment and somebody to work through that with you so that you are using your best, you're putting your best foot forward to succeed. You're using what are your individual skills and strengths. We can help you with all the bursaries that you need to apply for. We have student navigators that are senior students who will just be there on either text or email or on Zoom to answer quick little questions for you that you may not want to just ask a peer, but you would have your own navigator. We offer Career Clarity for people who really want to go to college, but don't have an idea of what their chosen career might be. And there's 180 programs at Algonquin College. So Career Clarity is something that is often accessed by people who are ready for post-secondary, but just not sure of their career. And we have all kinds of events so that students can get together and learn from each other. Next slide, please. Thank you. I pass it over to our next presenter and I look forward to your questions at the end of the presentation.
Great, thank you, Martha. Next up, we have a representative, Rhonda from Financial Aid. Rhonda?
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for coming. So my name is Rhonda Patterson, and I am one of 7 financial aid officers here at Algonquin College in the Registrar. And what we do is we administer bursaries and student loans through OSAP. So I'm just going to take a few minutes with regards to what OSAP is and how you apply. I've been working for the college for the last 20 years, and I'm also a graduate of Algonquin College to the business program from Pembroke campus. And I've always wanted to give back, and that's one of the reasons why I work at Algonquin College, because we are here to help you succeed. So first slide, we have OSAP. And what is OSAP? It's the Ontario Student Assistance Program. And in order to be considered for OSAP, you must meet these requirements. So you need to be a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident or a protected person, and you need to meet the Ontario residency requirements. So for those new Canadians that are coming, they would meet that if they come into Ontario, or if you are, what you need to do is be in Ontario 12 consecutive months without going to secondary to be considered the Ontario resident requirement. You need to be enrolled in an approved post-secondary institution, taking an approved program, and you need to be taking at least 60% of your course load, or if you are a student with a disability, you need to take at least 40%. So what does that mean? So if 6 of my classes is my full course load, then I need to take 4 out of 6 to meet the requirement of 60%. And if I'm a student with a disability, depending on the hours of the courses, I need to take at least 3 out of 6 classes in order to be considered full-time OSAP applicant. If I'm less than that, then I can apply for part-time funding, which pays for tuition and books. OSAP is based on financial needs. So every student is assessed individual need according to financials. Next slide, please. So how do I go about to apply? So I would go to Ontario.ca/OSAP, OSAP, and out of province students that do not meet the Ontario residency requirements would need to apply to their home province. Next slide, please. The other thing, Algonquin College and the Registrar's Office also administers the bursary, scholarship, and the awards. So this is bursaries and money that you will not have to pay. Bursary students can apply each semester for numerous bursaries through their access, and bursaries are based on financial need. The Student Award Department will administer that, have an application. Scholarships are based on your academic excellence. So after your first year, depending on your marks, you may qualify for a scholarship. And awards are given in recognition of students' academic excellence, extracurricular activities such as volunteerism and leadership. Usually the department gives these awards out, and you can nominate or self-nominate to be considered. Next slide, please. So as I had said in the previous slide, how do you go about applying? So you want to go onto your Access account and you click on the financial aid, update your SIN, and then you start applying. You only need to apply once per academic year. And you must have your timetable in order to apply. Next slide, please. So since there's 7 of us full-time financial aid officers here at the college, we also have 2 part-time financial aid officers. So once you're in your program and you have a question with regards to your OSAP or any questions, your bursaries, if you're in financial crisis, then you would reach out to your financial officers. And what you would do is go on to our financial aid screen that we have at the college, click in where you're studying and what program you were in. Once you click the program that you are in, your financial aid officer will pop up and you will be able to email them directly. Next slide, please. Oh, that's all I have. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks so much, Rhonda. Okay, next up, we have Patty from our Registrar's Office.
Good morning. My name is Patty. I've worked in the Registrar's Office for 20 years and I love helping students. Next slide, please. Okay, so you've been accepted. You've applied, you've been accepted, you've confirmed your attendance, you've paid your deposit. Now submit any outstanding documents. Next slide, please. Okay, so you've been accepted, you've got accepted, and so the next step is deferring your fees or paying your fees. You must defer your fees by the due date. And your due date will be on the letters that has been, the emails that's been sent out to you. Please see the important dates on our website to find out when your deadline is. You go to algonquincollege.com /RO/academic calendar. This will give you all your information. You can defer your fees by selecting defer your fees under the fees and payment category on Access. What is the difference between deferring as a new student versus a returning student? A returning student don't need to pay the deferral fee. They can just go ahead and defer their fees. A new student, if they're getting OSAP, they can defer their fees without putting a down payment on, which is $250, and that would defer their fees till the end of January. And you can opt out of your UPass. This is usually a mandatory fee, but with COVID, you can opt out of your UPass on Access from mid-December for the 21 winter. Next slide, please. Okay, so timetables are now out. You can select view timetable under courses on Access. You select your term in the upper right-hand side of your timetable for 21 winter. If you can't see your timetable, it could be because you have not paid your deposit or deferred your fees. This is a very important step. The 21 winter timetables will release on December 14th, 2020 for most secondary programs. Next slide, please. Now, usually the second year and onwards, you select Gen Eds. So most Gen Ed or program electives can take place in a returning term. Please see the algonquincollege.com/Gen Ed for timelines for specific terms. The 21 winter term selection period is now open. Please select Gen Ed and program electives under courses on Access to make your choices. If your timetable has been released, use the drop, add, transfer option to register for your Gen Ed. Any requests to the registers after the start of your courses can be directed to your general elective representative or our office at askus@algonquincollege.com. Next slide, please. If you decided that you do not want to come to the college, how to withdraw from a course or a program. If you wish to proceed with a course withdrawal, you must seek approval from your program coordinator by email. Program coordinators will forward their approvals to the registrar's office for processing. If you wish to change your schedule, any available options will throw you to drop, add, transfer option on Access following timetable release. If you do not see the option, please contact your program coordinator. This also goes for if you're in a group and the times are not working for you and you want to change your whole timetable, please see your program coordinator and they will help you with that. To withdraw from the full-time program, you must first book appointment with your student success specialist at algonquincollege.com/RO/register/withdrawal refunds. Keep an eye on the academic calendar for important refund and academic penalties withdrawal dates. Next slide, please. So if you've taken previous courses like through another university, college, and you think one of your courses can be transferred or get an exemption for it, apply for a transfer of credit by selecting transfer of credit exemptions under the courses on Access and select the appropriate term, and a fee deferral is required prior to submitting. There are no fees for internal transfer of credits. $10 per external transfer of credits are requested. Also a detailed course outline and an official transcript. Please see the algonquincollege.com/RO course exemptions -credit-transfer for detailed transfer of credit policies and video guides. Apply early. Transfer of credits can take up to 4 to 6 weeks to process. To attend your studies, and make sure that you still attend your studies and complete until you receive approval from your request so you don't get behind in your course. Next slide, please. We have a lot of resources that you can email for access. You would go under access.algonquincollege.com/students. This will get you into your access page. Program coordinators, go to algonquincollege.com/academics-success/home/wondering who your coordinator is. Academic advising is through algonquincollege.com/AC advising. Student success specialist is under algonquincollege.com, academics-success, home student specialist. OSAP, again, is ontario.ca page/OSAP/Ontario Student Assistant Program. The National Student Loan Services is csnpe-nsLSC.canada.ca/en/home. Bursaries is algonquincollege.com/financial-aid and how to apply for bursaries. Academic calendar is algonquincollege.com/ro/academic calendar, and the registrar's office contact is www.algonquincollege.com/ro/contact/us, or you can email us at askus@algonquin college, and we try to answer your questions. Next slide, please. And thank you.
Great, thank you, Patty. I know there were a few questions in the Q&A about timetables and transferring credit, so hopefully that was helpful. Next up, we have Olivia Routliff from Campus Services. Olivia?
Hi, everyone. My name is Olivia, and today I'm here to talk to you a little bit about campus services. And yes, this includes the UPass. I've been seeing quite a few questions, which is great in the Q&A, so we will cover that. A fun fact about me, I'm a graduate of the Algonquin College Business Marketing Program and an awesome experience at Algonquin. So I know a little bit about what you're going through as a new student. And if there are any returning students on the call as well, I understand kind of the process. So anyways, let's jump right into the presentation. Next slide, please. So you might be wondering, what do I mean when I say campus services? And there are a few different areas that fall under our umbrella. This includes food and conference services, print services, so the print shop located inside the campus store, as well as all of the on-campus printers. Retail services, which is connections to the campus store, and course materials. That means like your textbooks, your required courseware, that type of thing. Parking lockers and card services, as well as residents. Next slide, please. So the campus store is your one-stop shop for all things, including textbooks, AC gear. So of course you have to buy like your first Algonquin College hoodie, mugs, tumblers. We even sell technology for programs that have BYOD, bring your own device. While you can shop in person during business hours, you can also shop online 24/7 at thecampusstore.ca. Now I'm doing a specific call out to this because I often get a lot of questions, but when you place an order online, for anything at thecampusstore.ca, you actually do need to create an account with us, but it does not need to be linked to your student account. It can just be any preferred email. This is really important, so everyone listen up. We are offering free shipping on orders over $99 in Canada and the US until January 3rd. So we will cover book lists and your course materials in the next presentation, but your book list should be available now, and if you're an AC Online student, you should be able to search by your course codes on your timetables for which textbooks. So if you have the means to, I highly recommend that you order your textbooks early so that you're set up for success when school starts. And now pickup is also available. When you order online, you can pick up at the Ottawa campus and at the Pembroke campus, but you might want to keep in mind there is a holiday closure coming up. So you want to probably check our website, thecampusstore.ca, for hours. Now, if you need assistance with any order you've placed, you have questions, you're confused, you need help, don't hesitate to reach out. You can reach out at campusstore@algonquincollege.com, or you can always give us a call and I can put that in the chat later. Next slide, please. So this looks like a lot of information, and this is going to be the toughest thing we cover. There's a lot here. I've put information for new students and returning in case there's a few returning students on this webinar that might be a little confused. So for new students, so you're required to upload a photo online for your AC card, which is your student ID, and the UPass. And the UPass is a transit pass that can be used on OC Transpo and STO routes here in Ottawa. At the Ottawa campus, it's a manual process. So once they review your photo and they approve it and print it, you'll receive an email to actually come in and book a time to pick up your cards. Unfortunately, we're not accepting walk-up appointments. So please check your emails to see when your photo has been approved and when you can book your appointment to come pick up your cards. Now, if you're a returning student and you opted out of the UPass in the September term or the fall 2020 term, you're automatically opted out for the winter term. So there's no action required whatsoever, which is great, unless you want to opt back in to the UPass program. If you received a UPass or renewed your UPass in September and your status in your program has not changed for the winter term, your UPass is valid until April 30th and no action is required from you. Now, this is for all students who are new and interested in opting out of the UPass program. Any full-time winter term student designated by the college as participating in remote learning, so that means your program might have typically been on campus, but you're remote learning due to the pandemic, you can opt out of the UPass program. So the opt-out form is available now on Access, which is your student portal, which I think much of you are probably familiar with at this point, but you can opt out there. And I highly recommend that if you're planning on opting out, you do so now or within the first 10 days of your program, because you'll want to get a full fee assessment back. If you opt out after the 10th day of your program, you get a partial fee assessment. And we want to make sure that you get all the money back that you're looking to get back. And now this is for everyone. If you want to opt back in to the UPass program, you can do so at any time and we'll just prorate your fees. So you can always opt back in if your circumstances change. Next slide, please. Food services. So there will be food services locations open at the Ottawa campus, and it's providing a variety of options to students and employees who are studying and working on campus. So you can find up-to-date information, including hours of operation, menu items, etc., by visiting algonquincollege.com/food-services. Next slide, please. Thanks. Printing on campus. I also get quite a few questions about this. So students on campus do have access to the printers in the winter 2021 term, as well as the print shop, which is located at the back of Connections, the campus store. You can find out more about printing on campus and how to print from your personal device by visiting algonquincollege.com/print. And then this is for everyone, whether you're an on-campus student or a remote learner. You can order personal printing or projects now online through algonquincollege.com/printshop online. Next slide. Parking. So I get, again, quite a few questions about parking. So there are a variety of short-term and long-term options available for you. So you can choose the one that best suits your needs. This includes term parking, evenings, weekends, hourly, tons of different options. All of these are available at algonquincollege.com/parking. You must purchase your permit online this term if you're interested in purchasing a permit. And it's important to note that parking services is now permitless. So when you pay for parking or purchase a permit, your license plate is now your permit. So it's a kind of a cool sustainable initiative we've gone with. And you can find out more details again at algonquincollege.com/parking. Next slide. And this is my last little blurb. So if you're studying on campus, winter is pretty cold here and you might have lots of winter accessories, hats, boots, mitts, scarves, coats, and then on top of that, all your books and resources. So you can rent a locker on campus. So if you'd like to do that, you can rent a locker on Access, which is your student information system. And if you want more details on like the regulations or the prices of lockers, you can visit algonquincollege.com/lockers. Next slide. For more information in general on all of our services, you can check out this website here. And if you have any question whatsoever, you can email campusservices@algonquincollege.com. Next slide. And again, my last piece of information, if you're studying remotely or on campus, it's kind of different this term, so try to connect with others, your peers. You know, you can follow our different social accounts, and we post a lot of really fun stuff, and we love to feature your photos. And I answer all of the messages on our social media accounts. So even if you if you send us a message asking a question, something that has nothing to do with our department, I'll still try to help you and find out who you need to reach out to solve your question. So please connect with us. Thank you.
Thanks, Olivia. Okay, next up, we have Anna from Course Material Services.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Anna, and I am a course material representative here at Algonquin. Part of my role involves ensuring that any resources or course materials decided on by a faculty member is available for you, the learner, to purchase in Connections, the campus store. As to my own connection to Algonquin, I am a two-time grad of Algonquin. I've completed the Applied Museum Studies program and the Archives and Records Management program. And I'm also currently taking the Office Administration General program online. I've worked at Algonquin for 10 years in various roles, from working with learners and residents, student conduct, supporting high school students who are looking to attend college, and helping future learners meet the program entrance requirements to the programs that they are interested in attending. Can I get the next slide, please? One of the easiest ways to determine what course materials you need for your courses is to use Booklist. This is a unique to you listing of the courses you are enrolled in, along with the course materials that are needed for each course. Next slide, please. To log into your Booklist, you can scan the QR code that's on your screen now, or go to the website at the bottom of the slide. A quick reminder, don't panic if you can't do this right now. All of the information covered today will be available to you after the presentation. So I encourage you to try it out, but don't panic if you don't have the ability to do so right now. The login information for your book list is going to be your Algonquin College username and password. That's the same one that you would use to log into your Brightspace or your Algonquin email. Can I get the next slide, please? You can view and purchase your required resources in Booklist. Where available, you can choose your desired format, print, whether you can choose new or used if available, or digital. As previously mentioned, for the winter 21 term, the Connections to Campus Store team is able to ship resources within Canada, the US, and internationally. The campus store is currently open for learners to purchase their course materials in person. We also have contactless curbside pickup available. Can I get the next slide, please? This is where we get into the nitty-gritty when it comes to digital resources. So any resource that you purchase that is digital in format, you're going to receive an access code. If you purchase a resource in store in person, this access code will be on your receipt. If you purchase it online, you will receive an email with this information. There are two kinds of codes that you may receive for digital resources. There's a digital access code or a publisher resource code. For digital access codes, these are typically for e-texts, we use the Texidium platform. You will need to create an account with Texidium and then use this account to redeem the digital access code. This is shown on the screen as a Texidium code. So you can see the two highlighted spaces. Texidium code is an example of where you will find your code. And then the highlighted website is where you would go to redeem your code and create your account. It is recommended that you download the Texidium app onto your device, whatever device you were using, so that you can use more of the, it's easier to use the interface doing it when it's downloaded, and you can also now access your e-text offline, so you do not need to be connected to the internet to access that. Can I get the next slide, please? The second type of code is the publisher resource codes. There's a different method to redeem your access for these. These codes are typically for learning platforms rather than just an e-text. The example on the screen you'll see is something called Revel for Human Resources Management in Canada. This is a platform where there is learning, it's interactive, there could be quizzes or assignments or however it is set up with your faculty member. It's more than just an e-text. Your instructor will be sharing with you how to redeem these codes in your Brightspace course. It is going to be unique for each publisher resource for each faculty member. So be sure to check your Brightspace on how to redeem those. Can I get the next slide, please? If you do need assistance with your course materials, if it's accessing, questions about if it's required or not, you can contact us at cms@algonquincollege.com. Myself and my colleagues have access to this email account and are more than happy to assist with any questions you might have. If you do have any questions or concerns about your online order, I'm going to recommend that you connect with Campus Store at algonquincollege.com. My colleagues who work in connections to Campus Store monitor this email account, and they're much more equipped to answer questions about order status, etc. Next slide, please. Thank you. And again, please feel free to reach out to either of those email addresses if you have any questions whatsoever.
Thank you, Anna. And before we go to our next presenter, I just want to remind everyone that this webinar is being recorded and it will be added to the orientation website. So if you need to reference some of those links or emails, it will be posted on the orientation website. And we're going to be just using the chat now for link sharing. So please use that to reference links. And if you have questions for our panelists that haven't been addressed so far, you can use the Q&A tab. And then our panel members will be answering the questions by typing in the Q&A. And if we don't get to the questions, we will have a Q&A period at the end of the presentations. So next up, we have our Students Association. So Pat, over to you.
Thanks, Michelle. Like Michelle said, my name is Patrick Newell. I'm the Senior Manager of Student Life for your Students Association. The Students Association is celebrating our 50th anniversary this year. A great fun fact, actually, I started at Algonquin 10 years ago, and my first day was with Anna, the previous presenter. Next slide. So it's our mission to create an environment that inspires a passion for student success. The Student Association really envelops this mission through all the services and facilities that we provide to students across all 3 campuses. Next slide. So our board of directors is students that lead our organization, and they're assisted by full-time staff. They have a number of priorities that they work on throughout the year, but these are high-level priorities. Things like getting students a UPass, change of the online learning management system that the college uses, different things like that. Next slide. So Emily Ferguson is our current president and Robbie Richter is our vice president. The other 4 directors are full-time students that really try to represent students across all different campuses. Next slide. We also manage our athletics program at all 3 campuses. So we have varsity sports, men's and women's soccer, volleyball, basketball, and rugby. Recruitment takes place normally during the summer months. So students that are asking right now, how do I join a varsity team? You can check out our website, algonquinsa.com, and find links to each of the coaches. Feel free to reach out to them if you're interested in playing a varsity sport. Intramural sports are sports that you play with your friends in between classes, but they're organized by the Students Association. There's a ton of different sports that are offered, everything from floor hockey to dodgeball, flag football, ultimate frisbee, all sorts of different things. And we have a great gym facility on the Ottawa campus. Next slide. Events, the Student Association does a ton of different events on campus. Most notably is Dirty Bingo. That's really Algonquin's core event. It's really part of the culture, I think, at the Ottawa, Perth, and Pembroke campus. We do it at all 3 campuses. We also host a ton of different large concerts, comedians, trivia nights, all sorts of things. Next slide. Our fitness. So we have a fitness zone on all 3 campuses, an impact zone that teaches aerobic classes, more mixed martial arts classes, different things like that, and personal trainers across all 3 campuses as well that are offered to students. And we also have massage therapists on the Ottawa campus. Next slide. The ARC, which is something that's very exciting, opening this summer, is our new athletics and recreation center. It's 125,000 square feet located on the Ottawa campus. It will have a brand new fitness facility, 3 new gymnasiums, bowling lanes, a rock climbing wall, golf simulators, a track that runs around the top of the building, and a brand new restaurant as well. Next slide. The observatory is the bar that's located on the Ottawa campus. Great food, really good poutine. They started to do pizzas now, great pizzas. And we also have a Starbucks located in the student commons in the E building. Next slide. Great way to get involved on campus, class representatives. So these are students that represent or bring academic concerns forward to the Students Association. Like you saw earlier, there's really only 6 students that manage the Student Association. Obviously, that doesn't encompass all 150 something programs at Algonquin. So class representatives, so that way we get academic feedback from students. Clubs and communities, there's a ton of different clubs that are offered on campus, and really you can start a club with any sort of activity or hobby that you'd like. I love clubs. I think it's a great way to get involved in the campus. We have a really great video game club if that's something anyone is interested in. Our Wellness and Equity Center is a center that's located in B building. That center provides educational and social programming from anyone from the 2S LGBTQ or BIPOC community. It's really used as an educational tool to educate students on things that are happening in the world. Next slide. Some of the services we offer. So we offer a food cupboard for any students that have food security issues. They'll provide 3 days of food per month to any student. Housing, so if you're looking for a place to live still, off-campus housing is all handled through the Students Association. Now the health and dental plan, I've seen a lot of questions in the Q&A and in the chat about the health and dental plan. The health and dental plan for domestic students, so if you're a Canadian citizen, is managed by the Students Association. If you're an international student, I'm sure International will speak to that in their presentation. But if the health and dental plan for domestic students, you can find more information at algonquinsa.com/health and dental plan. I'm sure someone's posting the link right now in the chat, or you could go to wespeakstudent.com. Some funding we provide if you're looking at bringing in a guest speaker or you want to have a graduation party after you graduate. There's a bake sale table located in B building that we use when we're back to campus. We do offer limited printing services and study rooms available on campus, as well as silent study spaces. Next slide. The Algonquin Commons Theatre is our 800-person theater on the Ottawa campus. We offer a number of different shows throughout the year. Obviously, right now with COVID happening, shows aren't happening. But when we do return to normal, that theater offers a ton of different shows, including outside rentals that are available to students at student costs. Next slide. The Pembroke campus, we have a fitness zone there as well as a rock climbing wall. The rock climbing wall there is great. It's a lot of fun. The landing is the lounge that's located on the Pembroke campus. So it is licensed and it has light snacks. And then we have a gymnasium on the Pembroke campus as well that runs intramural sports, the same as the Ottawa campus. Next slide. And on our Perth campus, there's a fitness zone there as well that's free for students, and a smaller office that can assist students with any of the different services that the Student Association offers. Next slide. So be sure to stay connected with us. You can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. Probably Instagram's the best one. To find out more information about the Students Association, all 3 campuses, if you go to the next slide, there's the information for each of our other campuses on Facebook and Instagram as well. Next slide. And that is it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Patrick. Okay, next up we have Sue from International Education Center.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Algonquin College. Coming to you from Ottawa, the nation's capital. We're so happy that we've got lots of new incoming international students that will be either studying with us in the winter semester, either remotely or either here in Canada or in your home country. My name is Sue Hodgins, and I'm one of 4 international student advisors from the IEC support team. Next slide, please. Just one thing that I would like to mention as well is IRCC recently announced that any international student as of October 21st, if you would like to come to Canada, you need to have a study permit approval. So first step, you need to have your study permit application approved, and then you'll be able to move to the next step, making your plans to come to Canada. The International Education Center offers a wide gamut of support services to help international students while they're studying here. We have our own free arrival services, self-isolation plan, which is mandatory for incoming international students. I'm sure you've already received many email communications from also our IEC recruitment team, as our recruitment team is handling incoming students, the self-isolation program, and making sure that you've signed the appropriate waivers in order to get you up and running and starting for the semester, which starts on January the 11th. So you'll see on this slide some of the other support services we have. We have peer tutoring, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. orientation sessions, and we also offer a student mentorship program for international students. It's very important as well. You can check our FAQ page when you go to the international website. We have set up a whole website dedicated to international. You can click on the tab regarding whether you're actually here in Canada already, or if you're still in your home country waiting for your study permit. Next slide, please. GuardMe. GuardMe Insurance is the insurance provider that we use for all international students. As an international student, this is a mandatory coverage. The only way currently that you will be able to opt out of the GuardMe insurance is if you are still going to be studying remotely in your home country. And if you are going to be studying remotely, there is a waiver that you will need to sign, and you should receive within the next week or so, you should be receiving email communication from our GuardMe insurance person that looks after the insurance. And if you need to email them, their insurance is IEC insurance@algonquincollege.com. It is a medical plan and not a dental plan. So once you do come to Canada, if you would like to add additional dental coverage, you could potentially do that through the Students Association, but otherwise you would have just for accident through the GuardMe plan. Next slide, please. iSent. This is a super app that we've just recently introduced, probably within the last 2 or 3 months. It is mandatory for international students. So this is a very handy tool that you can download on your phone or your iPad. This will give you at the touch of your hand all the information that you need to access as an international student. So we strongly suggest, and it is mandatory, this is where we post our information about our upcoming events. If we have urgent messages that we need to push out to international students or advertising about events, activities, this is where you'll have it right with you on your smartphone. So please download the iSent app as soon as you can, and you'll see that actually in the self-isolation plan that you can download that even prior to coming to Canada. Next slide, please. Our international events and activities. So as I just mentioned, those are, you can see all our upcoming events. For example, next week, we're doing this week, later in the week, we're doing a postgraduate work permit seminar. We also have an express entry session. We do financial aid workshops. We're partnering with some colleges in the province between December 23rd and the startup of classes, where we will have various events and activities for those international students that will be here in Canada. So please check out either on your iSent app or the following link to our events calendar. So that's where you can register for any of the upcoming events that we have for international students. Next slide, please. And free peer tutoring, just to mention, once you do get into your program of study, if you're finding that you're maybe struggling with one of your courses and you need some extra support, we will provide you with 10 hours of free peer tutoring. All you need to do is request that through the iSent app, where you just go on the app and request 10 hours for the specific course that you're struggling in, and then we'll send you a letter to send to the Student Learning Center that then you can access the free peer tutoring. Next slide, please. International Peer Mentor. We also run an IPM program through our office. This is where we match our upper level international students with new incoming students. So if you want to meet another international student that's potentially maybe in your same program or that has similar interest to you or from your home country, please send an email to International Peer Mentor, and then we will match you with one of our mentors. Next slide, please. So just two of the most important things that you need to get up and running for your classes starting January the 11th. There are arrival services and the self-isolation plan, which is mandatory that you need to complete prior to coming to Canada. And then you'll also see the link below to our virtual international student orientations. There are two separate international orientations. One is for our international students coming into academic programs. The other one is a session for international students starting our English for academic purposes, the English program, which will then bridge you to academic programs. So that's the end of my presentation. I just want to welcome you again to Algonquin College, and we will be monitoring the Q&A, and we'll be here at the end for any additional questions that you have, because myself and my colleague Sonia Bell are here. Thanks so much.
Hi everyone, my name is Melissa Staden and I am the Academic Advising Coordinator at Algonquin College, and I work with the Student Retention and Academic Success team. Next slide, please. So today I'm going to be talking to you about your student success team on the academic side. So when I'm referring to academic, I'm talking about your program. So you really have 4 people that you're going to be interacting with within your program on a regular basis. There are a couple others like your academic chair. You typically interact with them a little bit less. So we have your professor, your program coordinator, your academic advisor, and your student success specialist. Next slide. So the 3 that I'm going to be focusing on in my brief presentation today is going to be your program coordinator, your student success specialist, and your academic advisor. Go ahead, next slide. So your program coordinator is the person who you can go to if you have some specific questions that you might have about your program. So some examples for this would be questions about prerequisites. So this would be a course that you need to take before you can take another course. Questions about dropping a course and when it's going to be offered again, especially if it's a required course. Some courses are only offered once a year, so you want to make sure that if you're going to drop it, you know the impacts that it's going to have on your progression moving forward, excuse me. And then questions about program progression. So how you're going to progress through your program, when you need to take certain courses by. Next slide. Next, you have your student success specialist. So each program has a student success specialist, and the student success specialist might be a student success specialist for multiple programs within a school. And they're your compass for accessing the various support services that are available to you at Algonquin. So if you don't know where to go, you're not sure where to start, they can help to point you in the right direction, as they really are the subject matter experts on all of the resources that are available to you at the college. As well, if you've gone through your program for a little bit and you're realizing that it's not the right fit for you and you're looking at other options at Algonquin, you need to start the process of withdrawing from your entire program by meeting with your student success specialist. Next slide. And then you have your academic advisor. Now, one thing I do want to point out is when you are searching for your academic advisor, it may be the same person as your program coordinator in your program. Some programs, especially if they're smaller, your program coordinator and your academic advisor are the same person. So academic advisors can help you with setting and achieving your academic goals, and they can help you with questions as well about program progression, similar to your program coordinator. If you find yourself falling off track with your studies, an academic advisor can help you with resources and support to get yourself back on track. And when it comes to your career in your field and those big picture questions like connecting what you're learning in class to outside of the class, an academic advisor is a great resource to tap into. Go ahead, next slide. And one thing before I talk about this, I forgot to mention with your program coordinator, they're the ones that you'll be receiving an email from when it comes to your program orientation. So your program orientation will be taking place on AC Day 1 on January 11th. And your program coordinator will be reaching out to you with specific details on how to access your program orientation virtually. So if you want to find anyone on your student success team, except your professor, if you want to find your student success specialist, your program coordinator, or your academic advisor, you can start on our academic success website. I've highlighted the little student success team button there on the PowerPoint slide. You just click on that, and then you can find your academic advisor or anyone else on your student success team from there by searching by program. And that is all that I have for you today. I will be sitting in the Q&A and keeping an eye out for any questions. So if anybody has any questions about any of these services, feel free to reach out. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Okay, now we have Alicia from our Cooperative Education Center.
Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Alicia Gibson. I'm the operations coordinator in the co-op department. I'm a long-time Algonquin alumni and employee. I graduated from college many years ago. I've been with the college for about 18 years. So I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about co-op. Next slide, please. I'm going to start with a quick overview of different work integrated learning options. Many students coming into co-op are most familiar with what co-op might look like in a high school. And high school co-op is very different than what you will experience at a post-secondary college level. So co-op at Algonquin, co-op opportunities are paid 16 weeks in duration, which is the duration of an academic semester. You are considered a full-time student during that time, and it's actually separate from your academic studies. So while you're participating in co-op as part of your program, you are not attending classes, you are only participating in co-op during that time. So this is a little bit different than what a clinical placement or a field placement might look like. There are different work integrated learning opportunities for different programs at Algonquin. So I'm going to reference co-op specifically. We have a very great group of co-op programs. There's about 40 co-op programs at Algonquin. If your program doesn't have co-op, it may include field placement or clinical practicum experience. So if you have any questions about the field placement or practicums, you can reach out to your program coordinators. But for co-op, I'm here to answer your questions about that today. Next slide, please. So what is co-op exactly? So co-op is a full-time job directly related to your program of study. So these opportunities are paid equivalent to minimum wage. In Canada, that's, I believe it's increasing actually to $15.25 an hour in the very near future. 4 months in duration, so that duration of an academic term, and it's work that's directly related to your program of study. So if you're a student in, say, the computer programmer program and you are participating in co-op, you can expect to work in a programming type role that would be directly related to your program of study and gain experience in your industry. Next slide, please. 3 facts. Co-op increases your learning. So co-op placement increases your learning, your problem solving, your responsibility, and your classroom performance. So these are some stats that have been collected from Dressler and Keeling from 2004, but are still very, very accurate today. We also have some statistics around that co-op students are more employable. So employers perceive co-op students who have completed co-op programs to have skills beneficial to their workplace. Basically, what that means is when we embed co-op into your program of study, you have the opportunity for that hands-on learning opportunity before you go out into the workforce after you graduate. So co-op will really enhance that learning that you learn in the classroom with real-world experience. Earning money. So within the first 2 years of graduation, students who've participated in a co-op program earn on average $2,000 to $8,000 more than students who did not participate in co-op. Next slide, please. There are 3 phases of the co-op program. So you will work with our team for a minimum of 1 year period. So our prep term covers our cooperative education readiness activities. So students that come into a co-op program participate in a prep term. It's an academic semester. Co-op readiness activities are built into your Brightspace with some workshops to enhance the learning. We review cover letters, resume, job search techniques, interview skills. So we really work with you before you're ready to start applying to jobs to make sure that you're 100% ready to apply those skills that you've learned in the classroom. So the co-op prep term will then transition into your co-op job search term. So once you've completed all of your readiness activities, your resume, your cover letter, and all the fun stuff you're going to do with us during your prep term, you're going to be ready to job search. So we will, once you've completed those activities, we will give you access to Hire AC, which is our co-op job search platform where we post opportunities for students to apply. So we have a large network of employers across Ottawa and across Canada that post job opportunities for our students. But you're not limited to applying to those opportunities. We have students that are interested in working outside of Ottawa, outside Canada, internationally even, that are looking for maybe a very specific job experience. And we encourage students to pursue a self-directed job search as well. So in addition to our services and supports that we can offer you through Hire AC, we do encourage students to look for jobs on their own that would be related to their program of study. And then finally, your last step in the co-op phase is your work term. So once you've gone through your job prep and your job search, ideally you will secure a work term. So co-op is a competitive experience, which means that you actually need to apply and compete for the jobs that you're applying for. So many of your classmates and other students at the college will be your competition essentially for when you're applying to these jobs. So you need to make sure that your application and your resumes are 100% strong and ready to be applying, because there is competition, and the employers will interview you and go through a formal job application process to make sure you're the right fit for the team. During the work term, you will be working full-time. So in Canada, that's anywhere between 30 to 40 hours a week for most of our programs. But you will also be responsible for completing some academic assignments while you're completing co-op. As co-op is an academic experience, we really like to tie back your experience in co-op to relate to all of those skills that you've learned in the classroom. So there are assignments while you are participating in co-op. Next slide, please. If you are an international student, you require a co-op work permit in order to participate. Our International Education Center is on the call with us today, but we will guide you through this process and provide you with the letter and documentation that you need to apply for your co-op work permit if you don't already have it when you arrive in Canada. Some tips for international students is that we encourage students to get a part-time job to gain experience. So this doesn't necessarily need to be related to your program of study. This could be, working in a grocery store or a restaurant, or even on campus in our student opportunities. This will gain you Canadian job experience and also kind of enhance your skills within your program, such as there's so many transferable skills, because problem solving and teamwork and collaboration are all skills that can transfer from a entry-level position into a more specific role to your program of study. If you're not able to work or you're not able to secure work, volunteering is another awesome opportunity, and attending our workshops to get involved. So we also encourage students to add their languages to their resume and be proud of where you come from. And one myth that we like to address during our orientations as well is that international students do have the ability to work in the government departments. Many of our federal agencies and provincial and municipal governments can hire international students. The process is often a little bit longer and may require some more in-depth security screening for you, but it's certainly a possibility, and we have international students working in government positions every semester. Next slide, please. Co-op eligibility. So at this time, there are two ways for students to apply to co-op. We're in a bit of a transition right now. So many of our co-op programs, students can apply for directly at the application portal to the college. That's either through OCAS or through our International Education Portal. So many programs are listed for application at that stage. The programs that are not listed on OCAS, many of them have an internal application process. I will, following our presentation, I can post some information in the chat regarding our application process, because we're in a bit of a transition. Some programs you apply one way, some programs you apply another. So I want to make sure that you have the accurate information. Students participating in co-op need to maintain a minimum of a 2.7 GPA or higher. Complete all of your courses in your program leading up to your work term. So it's really important that you stay on track and you don't drop or withdraw from any of your courses, because that could limit your eligibility. And remain in good standing with the college. So not being encumbered or not owing fees to the college, because that could impact your eligibility to participate in a work term. Last but not least, we do expect students to be very good college ambassadors and adhere to our conduct policy. You are still a student while you're participating in co-op, and we expect our students to uphold very professional standards in the workplace. So again, we will guide you through that during your readiness activities and set our expectations out of our co-op students. Next slide, please. Oh, okay, that's the end for me. So again, my name is Alicia Gibson. I'm the operations coordinator in the co-op department. You can find us at algonquincollege.com/co-op. There's a very thorough FAQ page on our website. So if you have any questions, feel free to visit that FAQ, or you can send us an email to co-op, C-O-O-P, at algonquincollege.com, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Thanks so much.
Great, thank you, Alicia. Okay, now we have our last presenter for the morning. So Matthew, over to you.
Morning, everyone. My name is Matthew Wally. I'm a member of ITS at Algonquin College. I've been a student here for a number of times, learning different things, and finally, computer system technician put me on the track for a career I really enjoy. Today, I'll be talking to you about various network and technology type services that are available to you as students of Algonquin College and how you can use them to make your learning experience one of the best ones ever. Next slide, please. So key aspect of your learning at Algonquin College will be your network account. Once you have had your fees processed and you are properly registered for your courses at Algonquin College, a network account will be provided to you. The network account is available from ACSIS, commonly referred to as Axis. The website is acsis.algonquincollege.com. For first-time students, you'll be signing in with your student number and you'll be entering your birth date as a default password. Returning students, you'll be entering a password of your own creation. If you've forgotten your password, you can hit that forgot your password link, or you can call ITS support and they can reset your Axis password for you. Once you successfully signed in, you'll be presented with a whole bunch of different options, but the key one here is network account info, located on the left-hand side of the page, 5th option down. And in the network account info section, you'll see your username, your student email address, and your default password. Now, once again, for returning students, the default password information there may not be accurate for you. If you changed it during a previous semester, then that previous password you set is the active one for your account. If at any point your network account password is not working for you, feel free to contact ITS support and we will help you reset it. Next slide, please. So your network account provides you access to a number of different things at Algonquin College. The most important ones are, of course, access to your student email and access to Brightspace. Student email is the primary method by which your classmates and your instructors will be communicating with you regarding goings-ons in class, as well as updates for assignments. And Brightspace is where all of your course materials will be made available to you in terms of assignments, assessments, lectures, additional notes, and materials you can use to study. In addition to those two services, you also have access to Office 365. It's the full suite of Microsoft Office software, and it's tied to your student network account. You can install it to up to 5 computers and can be used on 5 computers simultaneously. And the one caveat is once you finish being a student at Algonquin College, your access to that service does end. As a part of the Office 365 service, you do have access to 1 terabyte of cloud storage, which is a great tool to use for backing up your assignments, making sure you don't lose anything in case the worst case scenario happens. Other key aspects of your network account are VPN access. Now, for courses that require use of VPN, at this point at the time that you were provided your network account, you'll also be provided the necessary permissions to use VPN with Algonquin College. For courses that don't require VPN access, it is still possible for the students of those courses to get access to VPN, but you would need to submit the request through your instructor to ITS to get the VPN access. You can find out more information on how to get VPN access by visiting our VPN support site, algonquinccollege.com/ITS/VPN-help. That link will also be shown later on in this slide reel. There are various types of software available to you as students. For software specific to your course offerings, that is made available through the digital resource portal, which is accessible through Brightspace. And there is also additional software available to all full-time students. Adobe Creative Cloud, which is commonly used for Photoshop, InDesign, Illustrator, a lot of design type softwares, and also SurveyMonkey, which is a popular tool for generating surveys either used in a classroom setting or even for personal things to further your own research. Next slide, please. So learning from home is going to be a new experience for a lot of our learners. And to assist with getting you set up in a working from home environment, we set up a number of support resources to help you get started. I highly recommend you check out the study and work from home support resources, the first link there on the left-hand side, as well as our VPN support resources if you're in a course that requires the use of VPN. The Algonquin College ITS knowledge base also has a lot of support articles for various types of technical inquiries at the college. So if you run into a problem, you're likely not the first student to run into that problem, and we've probably have the answer to your issue on our knowledge base. For first-time students that maybe aren't too sure about how to get started at Algonquin College, we have network account drop-in support available in the first 2 weeks of January, January 4th to the 8th, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., and January the 11th to the 15th, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. It does say network account in there as the primary support topic, but we will also be assisting students with getting into Brightspace for the first time, accessing their student email for the first time, helping you find that network account if you're having a little trouble navigating access, and also just for quick inquiries you might have. We won't be able to assist all types of technical support inquiries through this drop-in support, and in the event that we run into one of those types of technical inquiries we can't support, we'll direct you to the regular support line, which I will display at the end of this presentation. The other useful resource for first-time students is the Brightspace Essentials course available through the Brightspace website. It's an optional course that will just sort of highlight the key areas of a Brightspace course environment, showing you how to access assignments, quizzes, where your course content may be located, how you can review your grades. So I encourage you to at least take a look through it. And yeah, if you ever have any questions about anything you encounter there, you can always reach out to ITS and we will do what we can to help. Zoom is a big aspect of remote learning at the moment. A lot of your class lectures will be completed through Zoom. It is not required for students to have a full Zoom account to attend their classes, but you should still familiarize yourself with how Zoom functions if you have not used it before. Depending on the class you're in, your instructor may set up their Zoom session a little bit differently from what you may be used to. And it's good to know what you can expect when connecting to a Zoom classroom at Algonquin College, so you know how to make sure you can participate properly. And next slide, please. ITS is working with the Student Learning Center during the first 2 weeks of the new semester to provide a couple of workshops on getting familiarized with your learning environment at Algonquin College. Some of the workshops being offered is getting started with Brightspace, getting started with email and Office 365, and that drop-in support for getting started at Algonquin College. I encourage you to check out all of the Student Learning Center's workshops. They got a lot of great content and can really help you get ahead while learning at Algonquin. And next slide, please. So support in this time can be tricky, especially with everyone working remotely. Not every technical issue you encounter can be resolved remotely. We wanted to make sure that students that run into such situations are still able to get the support they need. So we are offering in-person support at the Ottawa campus. If you do need in-person support, you can scan the QR code there and book a support session, or you can go to our Contact Us page on the Algonquin College ITS website, and you can use the booking link there to access the page where you can book an appointment. Aside from that, we have support available through email. You can email us at 5555@algonquincollege.com, or you can give us a call at 613-727-4723, extension 5555. At the moment, our hours of support are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, and Saturdays 8 a.m. to 4. But those hours may change as a pandemic situation develops. So keep an eye on our Contact Us page for any developments in regards to that. That's the end of my slides today. Thank you for listening. If I could provide one last tip, it would be to really check out that 1 terabyte of cloud storage and use it as a backup solution for your assignments. Every year, there's always a student that gets affected by data loss, and it's always really rough to see. So protect yourself and make sure your data is backed up. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. And thank you to all of our college experts for your presentations. Thank you for our students for tuning in and submitting questions. We received almost 200 questions throughout the presentation. So, and I think our panel members got to most of them, but we do have about 7 minutes or so before we do a wrap up and make closing remarks. So I'll just stop sharing my screen and I'll ask our panel members just to turn on your cameras, and then I'll go through some of the questions. So we have a question here, and Melissa, I'm going to come over to you, and it's regarding how students and their coordinators can connect, like if there's a WhatsApp group, and I know certain programs have that. Is that?
Yeah, I know some programs are doing something a little bit informal, whether it's WhatsApp or Discord or whatnot, to allow students to have a chance to connect ahead of time. But the best option would be to just start by emailing your program coordinator to see if that is something that is being offered within your program and whether they have any suggestions on how to connect, because each program is sort of doing something a little differently. So I can't speak to the specifics of each one. I will post the specific link to find your program coordinator in the chat right now.
Okay, great. Thank you, Melissa.
No problem.
Now there's a question regarding international students. So is it necessary to open up a bank account for an international student who'll be taking winter courses remotely?
It's not really mandatory for international students to open up a bank account, but definitely once you do come to Canada, we strongly recommend that you would open up a bank account. But if you have a credit card, you can, pay with a credit card most places where you're going to purchase things once you're here.
Great, thank you, Sue. Okay, now there's a question regarding the UPass. So Olivia, I'll come over to you. I have chosen a remote program and I need to opt out from the UPass, but I can't submit the form due to a phone number field format. What should I do?
Oh, that's okay. I haven't heard that question yet, but that's a great question. I would recommend emailing upass@algonquincollege.com, and I can put that link, that email in the chat. They should be able to help you sort through the issue, and worst case, direct you to who to go to fix that phone number issue.
Thank you. Okay, and now Sue, I'll come back over to you. It's regarding international. I might not get my study permit on time.
So you should have received many communications from the international team. So they do have a deadline when you need to have, because first of all, you are still able to study remotely from your home country while you're waiting for a response for your study permit approval. In order to come to Canada, that's when you actually need your study permit approval. Then you can start the process to come to Canada. So please reach out to the international recruitment team, which I'm sure you've received emails from, but you are able to start your studies remotely, but you need that study permit approval.
Great, thank you. Okay, there's a question about printing. So are printing services on campus free of cost? And then second part to the question is over to you, Pat. What is the cost for using the gym?
So I'll start off with print, and Pat can probably touch a little bit. There are some print services offered by the Students Association as well. But Algonquin College provides 100 8.5 by 11 black and white printed pages each term to students who have paid the IT fee for the 2020-2021 academic year. So this shows up as a $10 print balance, which is added to your print account at the start of each term. So once you have that, you can print on campus. If you run out of funds and you'd like to print more on campus, you can actually load money onto your AC card, your student card, and you use that to tap the printers for contactless printing. I'll put a link in the chat, but for more information, you can visit algonquincollege.com/studentprint, and there you'll also find information on how to set up printing on your personal device. So I'll put that link in the chat.
Yeah, it's like Liv said, the Student Association does offer 20 free prints, colored prints for any student across all 3 campuses per semester. The question about the gym, was it the cost of the gym?
Sorry, what is the cost for using the gym?
So the gym right now on all 3 campuses is free to all students. Obviously, because of COVID restrictions, who can go to campus, who can't, but the gym is free to all students, and then moving into the next semester, that will be included in their tuition. So there will be no more gym memberships at any of our campuses.
Great, thank you both. Okay, so Anna, I think this question is over to you about course materials. So the student is interested in purchasing a laptop for the BYOD program. Are there any payment facilities in the AC shop?
I'm not entirely sure what the question is.
I think this.
Sorry.
I think the students just wondering if they could purchase the laptop from the AC shop. Like they can go into the store and make the.
We do have laptops available for students that meet the requirements for the various levels of the Bring Your Own Device programs. I'd recommend that you go to the Connections to Campus Store website. I can put that link in the chat. And all of the options are listed there. If there's anything that you're looking for in particular that's not on the website, feel free to email the team at Connections. I'll also put that email in the chat, and they'll be able to assist you in locating the exact thing you need.
Okay, thank you. That's helpful. Okay, and Olivia, back to you. How can I get the student card if I'm not in Ottawa? Will it be posted? I guess will it be mailed?
Yeah, so student cards are super handy for anyone to have, really. I know we get a lot of questions, especially with folks remote learning. But if you have a student card, I mean, there's tons of discounts that you can get off campus, which is really great. So I highly recommend, I mean, everyone loves to save money, right? I think, Michelle, last time you mentioned like discounts with a student card at ski hills and stuff. Like there's all sorts of things everywhere. So I highly recommend, if you're interested, you do take advantage of getting a student ID, which we call an AC card. For most folks, you will have to come to the Ottawa campus to pick yours up, but there are exceptions, of course, for people who aren't living in the Ottawa, Pembroke, or Perth areas. So I will send that information in the chat for where they can go to fill out the form.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to take the last question, just recognizing the time. It's almost 10:30, and I know there's still some more questions in here, and we received so many, but we are going to be sending up a follow-up email with the frequently asked questions, so with links. So we'll just go through the questions that were submitted and then get to those. So you can get that in your email. You'll see that in your email later on today. So the question was, oh, I think it's, okay, so Patty, I'm coming over to you. Oh, sorry. Can I switch my program once we have started our online classes? What is that procedure? Or you're just on mute.
Okay, so it depends on when they're switching, like in midterm, they can't switch in midterm. So it's better if they switch their program like within the 7 days they're into their program, because then they would have to check with their coordinator of the program to switch if they're going any later than the 7 days, because that's when their refunds are due. Like after they have 10 days into their program to get a refund for their program if they're going to withdraw. If they're transferring, I would say check with the coordinator as soon as possible to get their program switched.
Okay.
So they don't miss a lot of the materials and stuff.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Thank you to all of our panel members for your presentations. Thank you to our students. We're so excited to welcome you to the Algonquin College community. This session is being recorded. It'll be added to the orientation website. Please sign up for AC Day 1. It's the next step of the orientation process. You'll receive an email tomorrow to sign up for AC Day 1. And we look forward to connecting you there. I also just want to quickly mention that we do have lots of virtual events that are open to you now. So there's this Thursday, we have Third Thursday, it's from 12 to 1. So if any new student starting for the winter semester, you can actually join this event. It's open to you. So it's Thursday and it's on Art in the City. So I think the link will be added in the chat. But yeah, we look forward to connecting with all of you and welcoming you to the college. Thanks everyone. See you. Bye.
Bye.